Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it, and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we are discussing what represents the latest production Breitling Navitimer. In-house caliber, this is the Navitimer B01, 43mm in stainless steel. The bracelet bears a manufacturing code suggesting it was built in February of 2019, so this is about as close as you can get to current catalog, at least in the pre-owned space. The watch on my 16cm circumference wrist is easier to wear. Breitling has been sizing down its lug spans to make them wearable on human forearms, so though this is a 43mm diameter watch, it is reasonably sized at 48.9mm lug-to-lug, and I can recommend it for a wrist as small as 14cm in circumference. The thickness of the watch remains. It's not a thin watch. 14.4mm, and you can see that the cantilever of the bezel means it overhangs a bit, and it will cause a tight cuff to get hung up, but you should be okay with any kind of a jacket, including a dress jacket. The spacing between the lugs is a meaty and modern 22mm, so if you throw this on a strap, and many feel that the Navitimer belongs on a strap, you'll find that you'll have a world of new 22mm options as that size becomes more popular in the aftermarket world. And of course there's Breitling's factory offerings. But if you're going with Breitling factory, stick with the bracelet. It's the wonderful 7-link Navitimer. It's a mesh style that's similar to the Pilot, but the individual links are smaller and thus more comfortable. The 7-link design is nicely tapered. There's a slash cut pattern to the links, and you can see underside with plenty of wells between the links to allow the wrist to breathe on a hot day, as well as avoid pinching skin or pulling hair. It's sized using screws, no pin sleeves here, and Breitling is starting to get serious about upgrading its componentry, and nowhere is that more evident than in this clasp. The tolerances are more precise than in the past. The gauge of both the clamshell and the clasp feel thicker and more substantial, and you can see internally Breitling has added a sort of super easy link. It's like Rolex's Easy Link, but with 2 different degrees of adjustment, and if you use a strap tool, you can actually reverse the pivoting blocks that anchor it into the clasp, and you can get even more extension if you use a strap tool to turn the anchoring blocks around. You can see how they're kind of opposed to the clasp and they're held in place. Pull them out, flip them out, and you can actually pull this out just a little bit more, and you have 2 degrees of adjustment. You can see the 2 notches in there. This is important because not only does the clasp feel more substantial, thanks to refinements like that, it is more substantial. Breitling finally realizing that its pre-Georges Kern clasps were downright embarrassing, even as its straps were some of the best in the business. Now, moving closer to the case, you can see not much changes with the lines. Like the Speedmaster Professional, the Navitimer is very much like a vintage watch that's lived on into the modern era, which is to say the shapes and the scale don't really change, and the case band of both the Speedy Pro and the Navitimer quite slender in mid-century style, back when mid-cases were thin and long, and you can see how that mid-case has been extended lug-to-lug with a little bit of a squared-off profile in the end and a flaring bevel, all of high polish. You can see that it's beautifully reflective and handsomely finished. That's still Breitling style, even under Georges Kern. You're going to get a lot of polished metal. Pump style, vintage-inspired chronograph pushers with the Breitling B, and you can see a deep and sharp knurling outboard with the outer faces polished and the recesses of the knurling all of satin finish. The watch features a domed sapphire crystal over a glorious sloped and dished dial. Now outboard you can see the silver calibrated logarithmic scale. It's a circular calculator, a circular flight computer, and it becomes that with the individual units, and you can see units have been added, all of this base 1000. What it basically is a calculator for multiplication and division. So you can use it to multiply or divide. Originally it was designed in 1954 with the first Navitimers made for the American AOPA Pilots Association, being essentially flight computers for aviators who didn't have electronics to do these things in the cockpit. Today, it's a wonderful novelty, and if you get good with it, and it's not hard to do, you can actually beat your friends to calculating a restaurant tip when they're using their iPhones and you're using this. Sloping down from that flange, which is mobile, of course, you have a sunburst blue metallic disc that services the dial, applique polished, diamond polished indices, polished baton style hands with a Baroque counterweighted red varnished seconds hand. You can see that Breitling counterweight to the chronograph seconds hand, and then sunken sub-registers. Georges Kern, the new CEO of Breitling, wants you to know that when you see a tone on tone that is black on blue, for example, set of registers and dial, that means in-house caliber. And indeed, this is an in-house caliber. You can see the Breitling logo newly shorn of its wings. It's just B. Breitling wants you to know that it is an air, land, and sea sports watch company, therefore B without the wings, though the Navitimer is still very much a pilot's watch. Look on the case back and you can see the Navitimer is now a manufactured product, also proliferating under Kern the use of display casebacks, and you can see the movement, caliber B01, is actually a good looking one. You can see the visible column wheel interacting with its levers, automatic winding, 3-day power reserve, 28 beat rate, 47 joules, with an ultra precise Edachron adjustment system. You can see it on the balance. This is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer adjusted in 5 positions. It features a hacking seconds function as well as a quick set date, a vertical clutch so you can leave the chronograph running full time with no wear and tear to the watch, and you can actually watch the seconds hand start without stagger. That's what you get from the vertical clutch. The column wheel, the traditional method of building a chronograph, is crisp. You hear it, you feel it, it's a tactile and audible pleasure. 30 meters water resistant. It's not a swimmable watch, but that's why you've got a super ocean. This is the icon. If you're going to get a Breitling and you're going to get just one, get a Navitimer. Just like if you're going to get Rolex, get a Sub, and if you're getting an Omega, get the Speedy Pro. This is the icon. This is the pillar. The only true, enduring, forever pillar of Breitling. Celebrate that fact with the Navitimer 01, 43 millimeters in stainless steel. Navitimer 01 by night.